Okay. Well, good morning, everyone. I show 8 o'clock, so we try to get started on time for this coffee. Each month, we are doing it a week later than we normally do it, so it's normally the third Tuesday of the month, but because of spring break, we are a week later, and we are going to be talking a lot about Parks and Rec. We have a pretty expansive Parks and Rec department and a lot of things going on in the city. So I have David Wright, our Parks and Rec director, along with many of his team members with us here this morning. But we're going to start out talking about our Clean the Streets Day. So one of the things that we hear a lot about Bentonville, especially people that come in and visit, but also those that call Bentonville home, is just how clean our city is. And so this is an opportunity for everyone in our community to take a part in keeping our city looking beautiful. So this morning, we're going to start with Shelley Kerr in our community development team, and she's going to tell us a little bit how every individual or community member can get involved with Clean the Streets Day.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Orman. Good morning, everybody. I'm Shelley Kerr. I am the Comprehensive Planning Manager in the Bentonville Planning Department. Just want to tell you a little bit about the Clean the Streets Day, how long we've been doing that, how you can participate, and then we will follow up with sending you information on links on how to register. So this is all part of the Great American Cleanup, and it takes place each spring, and it's the nation's largest community improvement effort. Every year, thousands of volunteers remove trash, discarded debris from Arkansas roadways, shorelines, parks, and other public areas during this statewide community improvement campaign. Bentonville has been participating in the program since 2006, and we're doing it again this year. We are hosting a citywide Clean the Streets Day on Saturday, April 15th. This is from 9 a.m. to noon. It consists of picking up litter along city streets, trails, creek beds, and drainage ways. This event is rain or shine, so there's no rain date set for it. So what we are looking for is volunteers to help pick up litter along Bentonville city streets and trails. We will provide all the supplies. This includes trash bags, safety vests, gloves. A lot of times we'll have businesses, organizations, church groups, and families that will team up to clean the street section. It's really a quick and easy way to volunteer and help keep Bentonville beautiful. So how this works is, first of all, you just register your team. We will send you information on a link through Sign Up Genius. Within that sign-up page, it lists out all the street sections. And so you can choose which street section works for you. It includes the length of the section. Most of those are between 1 mile to about 1.5 miles. We also indicate whether or not this section is safe for children. A few of them are a little bit safer than others. So if you've got younger children that you want to participate, you might want to choose those sections. And then it also indicates how many volunteer slots we have available, so you know which section is going to work with the number of people on your team. Right now, there's still plenty of street sections available, but if you also have a street section that you want to do that's not on the list, you can also reach out to us for that. And you can reach us at neighborhoods@bentonvillear.com. The other thing you can do on there is to indicate the number of t-shirts and the sizes that you have for everybody on your team. The next step will be to pick up your supplies. We will have all the supplies put together by group. So we just need you to designate somebody to come in a couple days before the event and pick up your supplies. We will have them available here at City Hall. It's 305 Southwest A Street from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday before the event, April 12th through the 14th, and just have somebody come in and pick those up. It's real quick. The next thing we need you to do is, with your team, designate your meeting spot and time on the day of the event, notify everybody of that location, and then you pick up litter on that Saturday, April 15th, between 9 and noon. We do ask that everything be picked up by noon on your designated street section. We do sometimes have corporate teams that want to kind of participate, and we do let them do that on the Friday before while people are at work. So we just ask you to let us know if that's what you're going to do. And then once you've picked up the trash, you just leave your filled bags at the designated location. We'll let you know where to leave those. And then our Public Works team will come by and pick those up. So it's pretty simple. The only other thing that we'll ask you to do is return any leftover supplies back to City Hall where you picked everything up. So we hope that you'll be able to put together a team and help us keep Bentonville beautiful.
So let's give them a reminder of the email that they can send for more information.
Okay, that is neighborhoods@bentonvillear.com.
Okay, great. And just as a reminder, I know I usually oftentimes will volunteer with Rotary. So if you have a nonprofit organization, any type of organization out there, this is a really great way just to get together. It's kind of fun actually to hang out and make your city beautiful. So together. And so if you have an organization that would like to do that, and then also we, like you mentioned, a lot of our corporate teams will come together, and it's kind of a good team building way to be able to do something good for your community and also be able to be around your fellow team members. So I want to remind everybody about that. So I say the number one thing when people call the mayor's office asking how they can help the city or help us keep our city looking beautiful. I mean, again, that's one of the main comments that we hear across the board, whether you live in Bentonville or you're visiting Bentonville, is just how clean it is. And we certainly know that we have great teams that help us do that, but it's part of the community that really helps us keep that going too. So thanks for sharing all that information. And if you are listening, please make sure you send an email. And the packets are great. They have the trash bags, the vests, so you can be seen and people know that you're picking up. I think you have some of the little, I don't know exactly, trash grabbers.
That's what we call them, the grabbers. Yeah.
Okay. That you can
those are available
get
on the
gloves, all of the things that you need. And it's just really well done and easy to organize. And so, and your team can be you and your kids. It doesn't have to be a lot. It can be you and members of your neighborhood. So again, we want to encourage everybody to be a part of that. So thanks again, April 15th.
Correct. Thanks.
All right. We're going to move on to our Parks and Rec department. And David, I'm going to kind of let you introduce your team that you have on with us, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah. Hey, good morning, Mayor. My name is David Wright. I'm the Director of Parks and Rec here in Bentonville. And joining me today are three people that are really busy right now. There's a lot of programming going on, a lot of events about to happen. And the folks that I have with me today are right in the middle of all of it. Josh is our Recreation Services Manager. If it is an organized recreation program in this town, Josh's hands on it some way, somehow. He oversees everything recreation wise in our department, manages about 140 rec programs that produce about $4.5 million a year, and serves several hundred thousands of people, even though there's only 50,000 people that live in our community. So a big job, and he does a great job at doing it. With him is Hannah Carter. Hannah is a recreation services supervisor. And she really runs our Run Bentonville program. So if you see the 5Ks, the 10Ks, or this weekend, the half marathon, she'll tell you about that in a second. She manages all of those things. And then Stephanie is, she is about to start the season of just the busiest time of anybody could ever imagine, and really running our Camp Bentonville program. She does some other big jobs at the community center. She's over the fitness center and some facilities and programming there, but that summer camp program is so successful. Camp Bentonville is how we brand it and market it. And Stephanie, tell me if I'm wrong. There's about 75 camps, and we serve thousands of kids in the summertime. And so Josh is telling me I'm even low. See what I mean? Like he's exceeding my expectations right here in front of you. So
yeah, so
we're really lucky to. I'm sorry, Stephanie, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was like, we really have about 24 camp opportunities, but like 130 camps this summer.
Oh, see, I'm not even close, and so sorry about that. But yeah, it's a good team that has a really diverse offering of public rec programs, and I always tell people it's an honor to get to work on the things that we're doing and the legacy that we get to leave for generations beyond us. So yeah, that's who we are.
Okay, so my first question is really what's coming up this spring, and that's really a very big question, I know. So I'm going to let your team kind of maybe separate out what each of them are kind of responsible for. So what can our community look forward to from Parks and Rec this spring?
So we'll just dive right into a little slide deck that we kind of prepared for you. You know, the thing about our department is that we really have strived to be a comprehensive parks department for longer than a decade. And what we mean by that is that we're not just a department that's focusing on youth sports or sports programs. And while those are really important to us, we're trying to offer a lot of the cultural activities. And then when you get into the parks and the green spaces and those public spaces, how do we utilize those not only to serve as a destination for our residents and the people who live here, but also how do we utilize that land to just protect our environment and allow for just the natural conservation of this beautiful area that we get to live in. So we currently have 21 parks. Our newest park came to us late last year with the donation of Bogle Park. Marilyn and Bob Bogle, their trust and their kids essentially left that park to us and donated that to us late last year, along with the financial contribution to help maintain it for the first couple of years. And then so that gives us 21 parks and then a lot of trails. And cycling has been a big emphasis in our community. There's been a huge economic return from this activity in a while. So while we're also known for a lot of the mountain bike trails that you see at a slaughter pen, or Lake Bella Vista, and it's the Kohlers and those other areas in town. It's also about connecting people on hard surface trails as well, like the Razorback Greenway, the new bike lanes on 8th Street and 3rd Street, throughout the community. It's about connecting people and connecting places, and allowing people different modes of transportation in order to reach those very spaces. We're really lucky to have the maintenance team that we do. I think, one of the things that y'all talked about before you turn this over to us was, keeping our community beautiful and clean. And that's essentially what the men and women on our parks maintenance team strive to do. They maintain every bit of our public spaces, our parks, our ball fields, our public gardens. Every bit of that is taken care of our parks maintenance team. And even, I know it's not springtime and we're a long way away from this, but the lights on the square during the holiday season is 100% installed by the Parks and Recreation maintenance team. And so we're really proud of the work that they do. One of the things that we do and are about to do here before too long is we manage the tree canopy as well as we possibly can from our side. Now, we're not the only players in that. There's other city departments that do that as well, but that tree canopy, we have an urban forester who focuses on making sure that the health of our trees are where they need to be and sustainable. He and his team planted over 225 trees last year, and then we're about to open Creekside Park, and I'll get to that in a minute. But one of the initiatives that they want to do out there is, because this is the 150th birthday of Bentonville, is plant 150 trees in that space out around the new Creekside Park. So lots of good work by the folks in that department. And then, maybe the favorite thing that they do, and in turn, maybe when you go into our department, from my personal opinion, are the tulips throughout the parks. And we're really close. I mean, I know you're starting to see a couple bandits start to stick up here and there as the soil temperature warms up a little bit. I heard a fellow one time in a TED talk about public art in Bentonville. And one of the things that he talked about was the landscaping in the downtown square. And he went on to talk about specifically the tulips. And while the tulips are a colorful public garden installation, what he really related to that is that, hey, Bentonville, it's time to come outside again. We've been inside all winter, but it's getting warm. It's time to reemerge. The landscaping is waking up. The trees are waking up. And the tulips are really that first sign of spring to come back outside and enjoy our community. So I took that to heart, and he said that 10 years ago. And I think of that every single season as those tulips start to emerge. Here in about 2 weeks, you're going to have all kinds of different colors all throughout the community. And that's by way of 25,000 tulips that you'll see primarily in downtown and around Orchards Park. But you'll see them a little bit here and there, just about everywhere.
That's one of my favorite things for sure in the spring. I love everyone takes their pictures around them. So
Oh, yeah.
you see pictures of Bentonville, you're always going to see the tulips in the spring.
So as we follow through that introduction and we get into some of the other projects that we have going on, taxpayers approved a bond about 18 months ago. It may be closer to 24 months ago at this point. And $30 million of that bond went to Parks and Recreation. But before I tell you about that bond, another capital project that we have that's really close to cutting a ribbon, we're hoping to do this sometime in May, is Creekside Park. Creekside Park is a 25-acre park in southwest Bentonville off of the future extension of Wright Road. So it will be at the intersection of Wright Road and Southwest 28th Street, right behind Creekside Elementary School, and there's a middle school adjacent to it as well. This park it'll be pretty diverse and pretty unique in what it has. But the main reason I say that is that it will have really the first true championship quality cricket pitch in the state of Arkansas. And I have a lot of people that will say, do we really need a cricket pitch in town? And my response is always, hey, if you'll go to Phillips Park, and just at a random night when we're not playing baseball, you will see the demand for cricket pitches in Northwest Arkansas. We have a very strong cricket association in Northwest Arkansas. A lot of players, a lot of spectators, a lot of our residents play the sport as their activity of choice. And so we wanted to provide a location for them. And while I don't think one pitch is enough, it puts a pretty good dent in what these users are wanting out of our park system. The other thing that you're going to see inside this is what I have for years called an epic splash park. I had a lady who's on our parks board refer to that once, and I stole it and used it ever since. But we really wanted, one of the things we heard when we did the Parks Master Plan several years ago were young adults that said, hey, we want to come to our parks, but we don't want to sit on a bench while our kids are on the playground. We want to be able to participate with them. And so we're looking for a little more play value in our playgrounds and splash parks and those kinds of things. So we went out and actually worked with a company and said, we need to, juice up our splash park, if you will. So what you've got here is really like a small water slide type playground that's essentially a splash park. It has a lot of the same features as that what you may see in the community center with the bucket that's dropping on top of you full of water or whatnot, and then some smaller slides. But this will be a feature that will be open during the warm months at Creekside, and certainly will be an attraction as we go from there. The other things that you're going to see there is a dog park. Back to that Parks Master Plan, it talked about we needed to add more dog parks throughout the community, and so it's going to have a dog park. The unique thing about this one is that it will have lights, and so especially when daylight saving time hits and it's still warm enough to go outside, but it's dark at 5 o'clock, we'll have some venue in town to be able to go to that has electricity and lights for you to be able to utilize. It'll have a destination style playground and a open field space for people to enjoy, pavilion. It's a nice amenity, and we're hoping to open that in May and have that available for our residents.
And I think that this particular park, what I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about is we also have that Wright Road connection,
Yes.
and we were able to build that road connection in conjunction with the park. And so maybe talk a little bit about that. I think that's really great usage of our resources and our time to be able to put those projects together. It doesn't always happen that way. And so maybe talk a little bit about that. I hope that the public hears that and knows the coordination that it took to be able to do that, and how we think that benefits and makes the projects even more efficient.
Yeah, this was the timing really lined up really well from this. Josh, if you'll go back 2 or 3 slides, it has that bird's eye view. There you go. That's perfect. And then Josh, I don't know if you can run your cursor, but if you'll show where right there is Wright Road. That's the extension, if you will. It's right off of Airport Road, going out towards X and A. Really where we were at as a parks department is we had started the design for this, and we're really about 75 to 85% of the way through our design. We're starting to eyeing a bid date and whatnot. And then here comes the city's bond program. And part of that bond program was Wright Road. And so we started talking about the benefits of having this part of the road done as part of the, in conjunction with the park project itself. And so really what we did is that we took this small segment, it's maybe half a mile in length, but it's a really important connection from a transportation corridor that goes from Airport Road to 28th Road because of the residential area that is behind or to the north side of 28th. There's the school that's right there adjacent to this intersection as well. So there's a lot of pressure on like Featherston Road and 28. And so this gives such a relief and a safe relief for vehiclists to be able to exit that part of town. What we were able to do is by taking the existing construction manager contract for the park and combining the road, we were able to combine those two projects. And in turn, we were able to save mobilization costs and architectural fees by building this all as one project, not as two individual projects. It's hard to nail down the exact dollar, but it's pretty safe to say that we saved the taxpayers a good $500,000 to $750,000 by combining these projects and doing it at one time. What that meant is that we kind of delayed the park project by about 6 months, but I think 6 months delay from opening versus saving $750,000 is a pretty good trade-off for all of us in the grand scheme of things. I'll tell you that from the park perspective, and this is being completely selfish when I say this, it's the money part was huge and something we ought to celebrate. The biggest win for this, though, is the connectivity that it's going to provide to that park. We were about to build this $7.5 million park, and it quite frankly was going to be very difficult to get to. For residents who lived out in the southwest part of town, let's say maybe around the community center, you were going to have to go all the way around the schools in order to get here. This gives you a straight shot right into that park, and that access is a lot more, just a lot more accessible for our residents. It's a big win, and we're really excited. And just like the park, I think that the road will be open here in about a month as well. Okay, so we'll just kind of touch real quick on a couple bond projects, and I'll turn this thing over to everybody else. The project that we need probably more than anything else in town is the Phillips Park renovation. Phillips Park is a park that was built by volunteers as long as 50 years ago. The land was donated by Harlan Phillips, who Mr. Phillips helped run grocery stores throughout the area, and their family donated the land, and field by field, well-intended volunteers built Phillips Park. Field 1 came first, and then 2 came second, and then the little trifold of fields 3, 4, and 5 came after that. However, and that's the good news. The volunteers did it, and it was a community-led effort, half a century ago. The bad news is that it was not the most efficient design in the world. And so what we were doing is we were playing on 50 acres, but we only had 5 fields. The truth of it is that we've got room for a lot more than 5 fields out there. And the quality of play, the quality of the field, just because it's so old, has deteriorated over time. It really needs a facelift. This bond gives us the opportunity for that facelift, and we're soon to start construction on a new complex out there. Now, I don't know how much of this 10-field complex we'll build right off the bat. There's a good chance that we may start with 8 fields, just depending on where the bids come in. But what we're striving for is this master plan of our parks that really takes our youth baseball and softball experience to another level. The main thing that it does is it brings AstroTurf ball fields into this park. We have turf over at Memorial, and we're able to handle the rain, the wet springs that we have. But Phillips doesn't have that luxury yet. And I had a pretty key person of the community say to me yesterday, "Hey, we're starting to have to play other places because we just can't get our tournaments in at Phillips Park right now." And I get it, and we're working on that, and hopefully in about 24 months, I won't have to hear those kinds of things again. We want you to play in Bentonville as much as you can, and this ought to give us a better opportunity to do just that. This project is something that we're hoping to start around July 1st, as soon as the youth season concludes, and then we will build like crazy over the fall and winter. And then when we come back in the spring, we may not be 100% done, but we'll at least have 5 fields to be able to continue to play on. And then by the fall of 24, you'll have basically a new complex out there. A lot of things can go wrong between now and then, but that's where we're pushing. That's all signs are pointing towards that as we speak. The next big project before I turn it over to our rec staff is the Quilta Parks. And this is another project that I think that we're getting really close to construction and hoping to start the first of 4 phases later this year. This what happened is that during that Parks Master Plan process, one of the things that we noticed is that our downtown is being used for more and more public events and festivals, and we are so honored and so excited about that because it just really turns downtown Bentonville into another level of a destination. But we were trying to cram these large festivals into our downtown square that is a quarter of an acre of size. And so what we really needed to do is to expand that footprint to better serve our community, spark economic development, and provide a sense of place for our residents in our downtown area. So our first project to that is we're taking 6 parks and we're connecting them like the weaving of a quilt. And that's how we come up with the name of Quilta Parks. But we do that with a promenade. So A Street that runs in front of the courthouse becomes a public promenade connecting those 6 public spaces. With Dave Peel Park on the south and Lawrence Plaza on the north, you will have a safe, connected, vehicle-free zone that you'll be able to walk through and enjoy the different attractions that are through that area. If you'll go to the next slide, Josh, I think the next slide. Yeah, you start to understand what this area starts to look and feel like as you go all the way through from the south to the north, basically from Tuscan Trotter to Vola, those restaurants right through there, all the way up to Lawrence Plaza and Compton Gardens, 21C. It really will change downtown Bentonville the same way that when we widened the sidewalks and installed the red brick some 15, 16 years ago, how that transformed downtown. This is going to do the exact same thing on a different level. We're really excited about this. Our partners with the Walton Family Foundation, the Design Excellence Grant has helped bring us to this point. And it's about an 18-month build out, and we'll do it in 4 small segments. And we're hoping that first segment will start towards the end of the summer, maybe around the 4th of July as well. But we'll get going on that at some point later this year with an 18-month build out. There's also a couple of improvement projects at Dave Peel Park and then a parking lot just next to Oven and Tap. We got a little work to do on those before we're able to start construction. We may be a year away from starting construction on those 2 elements, but the promenade itself will start later this year. The last bond project that we're working on right now, and from a dollar standpoint, this may be the most expensive one, not necessarily to us, just the total package, is the 8th Street Gateway Park. This is a 100-acre park that really will become the Central Park of Bentonville and arguably maybe the Central Park of Benton County. This area where it's 100 acres, we're really going to disturb about 13% of that, and we'll house a number of activities. There will be mountain bike trails and walking and hard surface trails throughout the area. There'll be a 1 acre, $1 million playground. So a destination playground, unlike anything else we have in our parks district. There'll be some natural resources areas. It really will have something for everybody, and it's going to have different feels for it as you work your way through it. So there's a certain area that's really close to our residential part of town. That area will feel like a neighborhood park. It'll feel like Gilmore Park and Austin Baggett Park and some of the smaller parks that we have. Yeah, right there where the cursor is shining. And if you go down to the middle of the park, we call it our park core area. That's where you have a large pavilion and some festivals area. Skate park will be there. That playground that I talked to will be in that area as well. It will be the social center of that 100-acre park. And then there on the very far east side, that's actually a pretty environmentally sensitive area. That's the top of the watershed for the Illinois River watershed and the Elk River. Sorry, I was drawing a blank. The other side goes to the Elk. And so that area right through there, we want to make sure that we're educating the public and we're taking care of that water, the very top of it, and allow it to filter as it makes its way onto whatever watershed it's going to. But yeah, this park actually sits in two watersheds, and that line floats right through the middle of that far western part. It's not that when we say preserve and protect those areas, it doesn't mean that the humans won't be in that space and be able to enjoy that. But what we're going to do is you'll have a series of boardwalks and trails through that area that maybe educates you of what that will be. But at the same time allows you to interact with that water. We want you to be able to walk along the rocks that are along that creek. We want you to be able to touch inside the water, get inside the water, but we want it to be clean and safe in order for you to do that. So those are the types of steps that we're making for that park. It will be unlike any park that we have in the sense of the size and what all the numbers of activities that we're doing from a passive standpoint. It's not a baseball complex or a soccer complex. It really is a complex for passive recreation on a scale that we haven't seen in Bentonville before. We're really excited to introduce this as well. This project, I think we start construction early next year, and it's about a 1-year build out. So you ought to be ready to use this late 24, maybe early 25, if you will. But it's a big project, a lot of work going on it right now, and we're ready to see it come to light.
Great projects. And just as a reminder, if you're on with this, we'll take questions at the end of today's presentation. So you're going to move us next into, looks like, our rec programs.
Josh, you want to take it from here?
Sure will. Well, good morning. Thank you, Mayor, for having us to talk about Parks and Recreation. It is definitely, as David mentioned, a busy week for us. One of the busiest weeks our entire department has all year. Hannah, again, we'll talk about our half marathon here shortly, but this is one event that it literally takes every single person in our department to make happen. So we are all excited for this weekend. But just real quick, again, my name is Josh Stacy. I'm the Recreation Services Manager. And as David mentioned, I get to work with the team who runs all of our recreation programming and facilities in Bentonville. Well, now I click my mouse over. Just a real quick snapshot. You know, it's March 28th. Soccer's been going for a little bit now. We have the largest youth soccer program in the state of Arkansas, and probably in a lot of the surrounding area. We got about 2,500 soccer players this spring playing between Citizens Park and Memorial Park. And then our baseball and softball seasons are about to kick off a week from yesterday, so April 3rd on Monday. Those seasons kick off. Tennis has started for us. Our youth swim teams and different groups have been going on for a while now. And then also our adult sports have started with soccer and our master swim team. And then also our sand volleyball program is full and starting here in April. We also added a new program recently in the pickleball. And I think would be remiss. I think, David, we didn't have a slide for it, but we are building 8 outdoor pickleball courts at Creekside that will be with lights. So that's coming very soon. 8 more courts in Bentonville to be able to play
Pickleball is definitely one of our high demand sports that I hear about. So
I can't believe I left that out. I'm sorry.
But it's coming, and it'll be great. So we do have pickleball program going on now out here at Citizens Park, and then we will also be able to offer that at Creekside Park once those courts are ready. Some other programs that we run, not just the sports and those types of things. We run all sorts of different events. Tournaments is a big one for us. Pretty much every weekend we have a softball baseball tournament. Most of them, all of them but one have made it. Memorial, unfortunately, Phillips has pretty much been rained out. We are definitely looking forward to that turf coming in the near future. But then we have different things from we just certified, I think, about 8 new lifeguards this last weekend. We do babysitting certification and classes. So kids who want to become babysitters, they get first aid and CPR trained. They get through the Red Cross. They get trained on how to properly care. So they're not just, showing up and not really knowing what to do. They can actually say, hey, I'm a certified babysitter, and have that skill set to be able to respond to emergency situations. And then we've got a Mother and Me tea party coming up. It's already sold out, so I hate to even mention it. It's coming up in May. And then we've got kind of our big programs with the half marathon in Camp Bentonville. coming up, and I'm going to, I'm sorry, I want to highlight one new thing too. So something we just launched that actually starts, the first program, the activity starts on April 3rd, is Bentonville Outdoors. So Bentonville Outdoors is kind of it's a membership-based outdoor recreation program. Kind of like you think you buy your membership to come to the community center and you can do a fitness class, or you can go swim, or you can play on the basketball court. Bentonville Outdoors gives you the same opportunity, but with outdoor experiences: hiking, birding, camping, fishing, kayaking, paddleboarding, pretty much anything you think of outdoor recreation. And that doesn't just have to be active sports. It can be, riding a bike to go for a picnic. It can be if you're wanting to get into outdoor rec, like I said, with camping or learning how to fish or learning how to do certain things, we're going to be able to provide that kind of teaching and experience for you. And it kind of goes back to, Bentonville has become the mountain bike capital of the world. And it's done so through obviously hundreds of trails being built, a big infrastructure being put into place. And outdoor rec is kind of the next step. It's kind of where the economy is wanting to go. It's where some of the private partners are wanting to go with Bentonville, is really to make it an outdoor hub in all the United States. And what we found to be successful for helping build that with mountain biking was offering mountain bike camps, getting mountain bikes into the schools, really making it a part and ingrained in the Bentonville community. And that's kind of what we see this program is doing with the outdoor recreation standpoint. Is we like to live in the realm of, we want to get you involved. We're not the experts. We're not going to take you on the 3-day excursion on the Buffalo River, but we want you to get to the point where you're comfortable to do that. We want you to feel comfortable in a kayak, to feel comfortable camping, to learn how to do a tent and create a campsite, so that then you can build up and become, comfortable and skilled enough to be able to go do those things.
I love that it's a community program too, that it's being put on by our Parks and Rec. And so I think we've tried to make it to where it's very affordable too. And so that if you're a family unit, you want to join as a family unit, but it's going to help you. I think anybody that wants to be better connected in the community or just meet more people in the community, I think this is going to be a really great opportunity for that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really, there is no age that cannot participate. We do have some things that are centered more towards an adult or for a family, and we call that out in our activities, but it's really something for the littlest of child to the oldest member of our community to be able to participate in. So if you're interested in that, you can play bentonville.com and find out more information. You can always reach out to me, but we're excited to get that started here.
Josh, what is the first? Are you able to say what the first activity is?
Yeah, so the first on Monday, it's outdoor yoga, and then not necessarily at the top of my head, we've got a hiking 101 course. There's a birding opportunity. So those types of things are coming, and basically we try to do about we're trying to get to about 18 to 20 experiences every month, so that, if you can't make the Monday one, there's something at different times throughout the entire week. So we're really trying to make it as accessible as possible, and working with a whole bunch of community partners. A lot of people who are already doing this, Arkansas Game and Fish, or the Bentonville Garden Club, or 37 North obviously is kind of our primary partner, but we're really trying to get a lot of different people involved, including our own horticulturalist, our own urban forester, who can help, guide some of these activities as well. So
That's great. So I appreciate you saying that. So if anybody's worried about it's going to be on a certain day and a certain time, and there's going to be a lot of flexibility with this program, it sounds like too. So
Yep.
For parents or anybody that's thinking about it, I know for me, we were considering it, but we have certain times of the day that we have to be at sports activities. And so I was trying to figure out if we were going to be able to do some of these or not. So I appreciate you sharing that information.
yeah, and the beauty of this is you can buy a membership, and it's $15 a month for an individual, $30 for a family, and then it's free to come to any of these. All the supplies are required. Or if you just want to, if you're only interested in archery or you're only interested in kayaking, you can pay just the one time, like $10, and come experience it. So you don't have to necessarily commit, and you can kind of come in and out as you like to. So Oh, well, there, if I knew what the next slide was, I could have showed you these activities. But that's kind of the information. So, but moving on, I'm going to turn this over to Hannah Carter again, who's our Run Bentonville supervisor, and she's going to talk about this weekend's half marathon.
Yes, it's our 13th year. Lucky 13 years and 13 miles. It goes together very nicely. Mayor Orman, I hope you are ready and excited. I've seen you put in the work at the training program every week, so I know you're ready to go.
So I am going to get across the finish line. So I am going to tell everybody that it can be done. I'm not necessarily going to probably be your pace setter, but hopefully I'm encouragement for anybody out there that's thinking, I don't know if I can do a half or not. You can do it. And the training program, the Run Bentonville program has been really great too. So.
Well, you've done amazing. So you've got a lot to be proud of for even, completing it is a great accomplishment on its own too. So yes, our festivities kick off on Friday with the Expo. Expo will be at the Record in downtown Bentonville, 104 Southwest A Street from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. It is where participants will pick up their race packets for the event on Saturday, for the run on Saturday. But the expo is also open to the public. We'll have over 20 vendors there that people can come and interact with. A lot of our sponsors will have booths, but a couple of other races and some other businesses will be there that people can interact with and learn more about having an active and healthy lifestyle and how to continue that. We are expecting over 3,000 people. Actually, I think when I checked this morning, we're up to about 3,100 as of this morning between all events. We've got our 5K, which is full at this point. We've reached capacity for our 5K. A 2-person half marathon relay. So each person runs essentially about half of the half marathon. And then the half marathon itself. All events kick off at 7 a.m. on Saturday morning at the downtown square. We will have a few closures and some things to navigate safety for our runners. And as you can kind of see there with the map laid out, we've got the 5K route on the right side, the half marathon route on the left side. We will get traffic moving as quickly as we can following each of the events. We'll do rolling closures. So as soon as the last runner passes each spot, we'll be sure we get the roads open back up as soon as we can to minimize traffic frustrations. Because as great as it is to have a big event, we understand that our public live here, still have to live here and have to get to work or get to other obligations. So we want to be mindful of that and help ease that as well. But we are expecting people in from over 35 states. And at least one other country, as of right now, we've got one person from South Africa that will be here. We've had almost 300 people in our training program, plus over 30 volunteers that have been faithful every week. So it's just a big event. I know our training program starts, and a lot of people start training for this in December. So it is a long-term commitment, and they will be so excited. If you live along the route, I highly encourage you to step outside, do some cheering, wave some pom-poms, clap, cheer, just root for them. Make sure they know that you're proud of them too for putting in all the work.
Yeah, we have a great community that will usually be along the route at some point. But if you have an organization or anything that wants to contact Parks and Rec and you want to be sort of what I call just a running cheerleader for everybody, I think that's a great way to also give back to your community as well during these runs.
For sure. For sure.
And it looks like you've got your entire Run Bentonville race series that are up there. So I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about some of the runs that have already happened this year, and then some of those that come up throughout the year.
Sure. So we've already had 2 events this year. We had our Valentine's 4K, 8K in February, and then the Irish 5K, 10K in March. Both of those events have kind of hit record-breaking highs, and I think that trend will continue with all of our events moving forward. We had over 1,500 registered for our Irish event, and which is a 50% increase from our highest event before. So we just kind of
And the weather was not good on that. So you had all those people out there with a rain coming down in our face. So you have dedicated runners.
That's right. The weather did not cooperate with us, but I've ordered perfect weather for Saturday. Just, gonna throw that out there. I've custom ordered it.
You know what? I did look at the weather, and right now, knock on some wood, Saturday is looking good. So
I hope your desk is made of wood right now. Just knock all over it. But we do have some other events coming up that are a little bit smaller than the half marathon. The Glow Run's a fun, super fun family event. The first Friday in June, is June 2nd this year. And it is a Friday night. The race will start at 9 p.m. It's fun to kind of get all glowed up and put glow in the dark paint all over, wear bright colors. You'll see lots of kids and families out on that one. It's a 2-mile course around Memorial Park. And then we kind of end that one with a glow swim at Memorial or at Melvin Ford Aquatic Center, which is always super fun. Worst race ever, believe it or not, has gotten really big. It is just a way to poke fun at ourselves and to not make a race so serious. And there's a lot of people that can get behind that. They understand that we can't take ourselves seriously all the time. So we've had a great turnout for worst race ever. That'll be September 9th this year. Goblin Run coming up in the fall and Freedom Frosty as well. But all that information is on our website, runbentonville.com, and we hope the community will come out and join us. Next event that we've got coming up that is not run related but bike ride is our Square to Square Spring Bike Ride on May 6th. So in spring, riders will ride from Fayetteville up to Bentonville. I get asked a lot, which way do I think is the easier way? And I say it's hilly both ways. So you just gotta suck it up, and it's really a fun event. It's not a intense bike ride. It's one that you do for fun with your family, with your friends. You just get together and enjoy it. Enjoy the pit stops. Enjoy the greenway, because we have an amazing greenway from Fayetteville to Bentonville. So, and then the finish line celebration is here in Bentonville at Lawrence Plaza.
yeah, that's a great opportunity to find a partner and just have a really nice bike ride morning full of spending time meeting new people too. I love that it's a community event too. And I love that this is an event too that we partner with other cities on. I think that's probably pretty unique. You don't typically see a lot of cities partners on a ride or something like this. So I always like to kind of highlight that too, because, and not only is it just Bentonville and Fayetteville, which are the two kind of stops, but all of the cities along the Greenway really help us make sure the Greenway is looks good and is taken care of to be able to provide that. So I think it's a great sort of example of collaboration in the area as well.
Absolutely right.
All right, we're moving on to Camp Bentonville. So I think maybe that's Stephanie taking over with this conversation.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for having me today. My name is Stephanie Now. I am the recreation specialist for Camp Bentonville. And so last week we kicked off Camp Bentonville, our 2023 season, with our spring break camps. We offered about 5 camps and served over about 100 campers. We had camps from Camp Tennis to Camp Theater, and we were so excited to be able to offer these options to like our spring break activities for our residents. We're super happy to be able to offer this to everyone here in Bentonville. So a lot of people ask, so what's next? And we're so excited about the rest of our Camp Bentonville season. Our summer session will start on May 31st and wrap up on August 4th. We have about 24 camp opportunities spread over 130 sessions. There is a camp for every interest. And furthermore, this year we have some very fantastic new offerings that we're super excited about. We have Camp Magic, Camp Flag Football, Camp Softball, Camp Baseball, and we even have Camp Esports this year. These are in addition to many of our standard offerings that we have. And we will provide, so many different varieties. So, not only do we have indoor camps, we have outdoor camps, we have sports camps, we have science camps, we have Lego camps, and we have art camps. We even have a camp that'll help you teach your little camper how to ride their bike. We have so many different offerings. We're super, super excited about our upcoming summer sessions. Additionally, we have a very special camp this year that we're very excited about. So from June 19th through the 22nd, we are thrilled to host Camp Bentonville 150. This camp will celebrate our city's 150th birthday by including visits to many of our notable downtown sites, landmarks, and businesses. We really can't wait to teach campers more about our wonderful city. We are so, so excited about that one. And, not all, that's not all that we're going to offer. We will have some additional camps throughout the school year as well as our fall break. So, we have many, many, many opportunities. But of course, we have our camps, they fill up super, super fast. So anyone who is interested should register soon because, we cannot wait to have all these, fun options for all of our campers this year. So we're super excited.
Got some great new options. So if you've been part of our Camp Bentonville before, you're definitely going to want to go to the site and check out even more opportunities, I would say. And then we want to make sure that this gets shared too, because we do know that there is a lot of requests for camps during the summertime, and we continue to add camps because there's such a demand for it. So,
Yes,
if one thing you've heard, hopefully throughout this conversation today, our Parks and Rec program is very focused on family and kids and just very fun opportunities for engagement and to encourage that healthy lifestyle. I do love that you're doing the Bentonville 150 camp. So thanks for putting that together. I might have to go through that camp myself. So we'll see what is offered. I was running on Saturday and I saw the History Museum was doing they've started sort of their history tours. So anyways, I really love that you guys are doing that. And now it looks like we're moving to a slide to maybe kind of end on here. And then again, we'll open it up for any questions if there are questions, because we want the public to know how to be engaged more with Parks and Rec. So I'm not sure who's taking this slide.
We've got a lot of options.
Okay.
I think, and I'll steal David's thunder here a little bit. The number one thing we always tell people, if you want to support Bentonville Parks and Recreation, just come to a Bentonville park, come to a facility, participate in a program, walk at Orchards Park, go walk the trails at Park Springs. That's how you support us. Number one, first and foremost, is just using our parks, and our community has done that. We kind of estimate for a town of 57,000 people that we probably get close to 5 million park visitors a year throughout the trail system, the parks, the sports programs, the facilities, everything that we do. It's just an incredible community who really loves to be out and participating in the community. And then, we have all sorts of other opportunities for engagement. Shelley was on here kicking things off with just ways to beautify our city. We work with groups all the time to clean, trails, to go into a park and help pick up litter. People help come and mulch trees. They come and help manage our public spaces and gardens. So there are a number of opportunities to be involved with us. And then, of course, we have paying jobs as well, lifeguards, camp counselors that we will need for the summer. When we open our ice rink, we need people all the time here at the community center for our front desk, kids center on the fitness floor. And then, of course, volunteers for our races. I think we probably could still use more. If you want to come out this Saturday, you're free. Come down to the square and just find someone with a B and say, "Hey, I'm here to help." We will help throw you in to hand out a hoodie or a chicken biscuit or chip a clip or clip a chip or whatever it is. I guess we're not doing it, but whatever else we're doing, we can use you. So anytime throughout the year, if you want to be involved with us, just reach out to any of us and we will find a way to get you going.
And one thing I was going to mention, we have, I believe it's over 300 community individuals that help coach our programs. Is that?
Oh yeah, it's in the spring, it's close to 500 between we got about 300 and probably over almost 350 soccer coaches alone. And then between baseball and softball, add another 150 coaches. So yeah, just in our youth sports programs.
And that's to me just really amazing. It also tells me how much that the community is engaged with these programs. And you know, one of the things I kind of wanted to, we've got about 5 minutes, so if there is a question out there, if you want to raise your hand, Debbie can kind of let you into the meeting. We'll be happy to answer questions the last 5 minutes. But kind of the intentionality with our Parks and Rec program is something that I kind of would like to end on. Definitely, it's something that different cities, you know, look at different initiatives, and I would say Parks and Rec, and David can talk a little bit about this maybe because he was sort of at the beginning when we really didn't have a whole lot of Parks and Rec, or not a lot to talk about in Parks and Recreation, and just kind of that evolution of it. And the reason why it's been such an intentional part of Bentonville is just because we do see that community engagement with pretty much anytime we offer something new, a new program, it fills up. If we introduce a new park, people are in it. We're tracking all of that. If it's a new trail, we're tracking all of that. So what I hope the public, if you've listened to everything that's going on, and you will continue to see us be very engaged with Parks and Rec because it's something our community has told us that they want and they want more of. So I don't know if David wants to elaborate on that at all.
No, yeah, you say that very well. And, you know, the thing that we have done, at least, you know, and we've done it longer than this, but I've been here for 15 years, so I can speak to that. We've always been really intentional with engaging our citizens on the front end of our designs. When we asked, you know, our community center that's been open for what, Josh, 7-8 years now, it was designed by our citizens. There was a similar facility on the other side of the state that some city officials at the time had toured and said, why can't we take that building and build it in Bentonville? And my response was, because it was designed by the people of Paragould. We want a building that's designed by the people of Bentonville. And so every park that we've ever built, Gilmore Park, Austin Baggett, now even all the way over to Creekside, those are things that our citizens have told us that they want inside their public spaces. The Quilta Parks came from the Parks Master Plan process. It was a process that included 35 public meetings with our citizens, asking our citizens, where do you want to see us go over the next 10 years? So everything that we've done, nothing has been an idea or a brainchild of a Josh Stacy or a Hannah Carter or a David Wright. It has been the result of us engaging our citizens and asking our residents what it is you really want to see in your parks and your public spaces, and how can we bring that to you. That's why our parks are so well taken care of. That's why they're so used. For a town of 50,000 people, the number of people that are touching our parks and trails are unlike any ratio of any large metropolitan area across our country. And it's because our citizens are so engaged on the front end. I mentioned a skate park at 8th Street Gateway Park. We had a skate park public meeting less than a month ago, and we had 150 people show up at that. I ran a similar meeting in a town 30 miles south 20 years ago, and there were 30 people, and we were ecstatic about it. Just the way people are engaged in our system here is it's pretty inspiring, and it's the reason we're successful.
Well, and to end on that note, I don't see any hands up for questions, but we are going to provide everybody's information. So if you are listening again, we want you to be engaged with our Parks and Rec. We do look for those ideas. As David mentioned, a lot of pretty much everything that we try to put together comes from an idea from our community. And then what I think is really unique about our community is that we have those ideas, but then there's that collaboration piece that I think is very unique to this area as well, so that we can come together and hopefully be able to produce those projects or those programs that the community, was their idea, but we've been able to bring it together and collaborate and make it as big and as robust as possible. So I think that's a great maybe note to end on.